So let's open it up with a joke, okay? So there was a guy who came back from church, and his friend said, "Did you really go to church today?" He said, "Yeah, I really went to church today." "Okay, prove me. What was the color of the eyes of the preacher? Tell me." And he was like, "Oh, that's very hard to say. When all of us are praying, I'm closing my eyes. When he's preaching, I'm closing my eyes. He's in deep sleep. We don't want any of you to be praying when we are preaching." So let's make sure that's a funny beginning, okay? So let's go to the next slide. This whole month, and thank you so much, my slide operator today. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping us today. So this particular month we have been seeing a series. What is the series we are covering? It's about journey. It's all about journey. These are the 4 different messages we saw throughout the month. What was the first month? It was from unripe figs to a town. What's the name of that town where Jesus started the journey? Bethphage. And the meaning of that is? A town of unripe figs. And he ended his journey in Bethany. The meaning of that is ripe figs. That's how God's journey before, that was the Good Friday message, right? Now if you go, that's the next one is the Good Friday message. At the cross, there were 4 people's journey we saw, right? That was a very touching message for me. Thank you, Anna, for sharing that. 4 different people, different statuses, they had an awesome junction at the cross. The next message we saw was something that looks like an ending became a fresh start. That was the message we saw. And last week we saw, Anna's message was different encounters. God's name, right? He was a provider. He was Jehovah Rapha. He was a healer. There were a lot of names given to how people were experiencing God's blessings, and they were giving names to God. And we saw all that. That was a very blessing series for that. Now it's me. So what are we talking about today? Before we get there, let's go to the next slide. In the next slide, anytime you think about journey, what comes to your mind? Some cash, some money, passports, tickets, all your preparation, right? Where do we stay? Usually I tell my wife, whenever I'm planning a vacation, I become very stressed. A vacation is for us to unwind and chill. But vacation is the most stressful time for me. Where will the kids sleep? Where will the kids eat? On the way, how many stops are there? Where do I get hot water? Many of you have gone through this, right? All preparations done. That's how we want our journeys to be. If somebody else takes care of that, we'll be super happy, right? Now, what are we going to see? The next slide. We all want our journey to be successful. How many of us want our journey to be successful, right? It could be a pleasure trip, it could be a financial trip, whatever it could be. But we want the goal of the journey to be successful, right? We are all on the same page. Great. When it comes to journey of our life, our personal life, our private life, our Christian life, anything of that matter, I feel there are 3 basics that we need to think about. And that's what we are going to cover today. 3 basics of our journey. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, so there was a husband and wife, and they were a nice couple usually, but they had a huge fight. Husband and wife, huge fight. Now, what happened is they stopped talking to each other. I'm not going to talk to her. The wife said, "No, I'm not going to talk to him." They're like, they're on the opposite directions. Now the husband has to go for a business trip. So what he did is, he took a post-it note and he wrote, "Wake me up at 5 o'clock, I have a business trip. I need to go to the airport." He put that post-it on the door, and then he looked at her, and then he went and slept. Next day morning he woke up at 9 o'clock. "Oh, what happened? I left my airport." He went and saw there was one more post-it that said, "Honey, wake up. It's 5 o'clock." What is the big deal when you have all preparations, you have your tickets, everything in place? Let's hit it. If you don't go, if you don't start, what's the point in having a journey? Your journey starts with the very first step. You need to go. In our life, there are a lot of places where we have become stagnant. I have seen people, after marriage, they keep thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking about when to start, when to have a baby. I have seen people who are ready to change a job. The Lord has told them to change a job. They keep waiting and waiting and waiting. The next step, get going, that never happens. Because what will happen? What if that happens? What if this happens? We are so worried about the next step. Without starting, without going, there is no journey. Your tickets may be in place, your suitcases are packed, you are all dressed up, everything is good. What's the point without going? You need to go. Here are few people, let's go to the next one. Here are few people that when God said go, they went. First example, when God said go, Noah went. When God said go build an ark for me, Noah did what? He built it. When God said, let's look at this verse. Genesis 7, 1-4 is the passage, but specifically I want to call this out. If you look at this, the Lord said to Noah, go into the ark, you and your family. When God says he gets into the ark, the same thing he does when God says he gets out of the ark. Right? Let's go to the next slide. Now, okay, God said, and I have started. God said go. I'm going. What happens? Here are some examples for you. When God says go, Noah went into the ark. And what happened? Let's look at this verse. Genesis 8:1. But God remembered Noah. Look at this. The God who told him go didn't forget him. Our God, that Almighty God, He will not forget you. Trust Him. Take that first step. Go forward. He will remember you. If He remembers Noah, why can't He remember us? I am a testimony. Many of us here have experienced it. When God says go, please go. He will never forsake you. First example is, let's get it. God remembers you. This is a God who doesn't forget. He is a God who remembers you. There was once an old lady, and it's a grandma, and her grandson. The grandson is going to go on a stage and talk. He's very nervous. He was like, Grandma, I'm very nervous. Do you have a bubble gum? And the grandma said, okay, here is a bubble gum, take it. He put it in his mouth. He chewed nicely. He went on the stage. He did it very well. He came back and they said, Grandma, thank you so much for the bubble gum. How did you find it? Oh, that's all right. I was chewing that for the whole day. I just gave it to you. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Our God doesn't forget. He is a God who remembers you. So never forget, when God says go, please take the next step. It could be your finances, it could be your job, it could be anything and everything in your life. Trust this God. He has never failed us. Let's go to the next one. Genesis 7:11-24 is the big passage. But if you look at it, 23 is the one I want you to focus. And I've highlighted the important point. Only Noah and his family are left. Everybody else is dead. Everybody else is dead. The God who says go, He is able to protect you. He is a God who can protect. There was once, I was working in a company in Chennai, and I stayed just opposite to my office. And I usually go there and eat. Many people know me there. One of my colleagues, All of a sudden in the night around 9 o'clock, he called me. He said, hey, can you come near that hotel? I was like, oh, it's all right, I can come. I went there. There were a lot of people standing there. Right in the middle, there was a car. And the car's glasses were broken. There was another car. That car had dents. I was like, hey, where are you? I'm here. Where are you? And the friend said, do you see any car there? Yes, I see 2 cars. Is everything all right with the car? I went near and saw that. I was like, everything is all right. Is anybody around? A lot of people are standing, but nobody is looking around. Then while I was talking, that's when I knew that all the people around, they started walking towards me. Pretty angry faces. They all came, who are you? Why are you on this phone? What are you doing here? I said, I'm just talking to my friend about this car. One guy immediately caught me by my collar. Catch this guy. He is the friend of the guy that ran away. My colleague hit somebody and he ran away. Nicely he called me and he put me into trouble. Our God doesn't do that. He remembers you. If he says go, go. I'm a testimony to it. If he says go, go. He will protect you. Our God protects. Let's go to the next one. Abraham. There is another wonderful example. When God says go, what did Abraham do? Come on, give me a map. Which stop to go? What will be the salary? H1B applied? No. He went. He immediately went. Look at this verse. The Lord has said to Abraham, original name was Abraham. Later he became Abraham. Go from your country. Awesome. Go from your country, from your father's place, leave everything and go. No destination, no salary, no what happened. There is no information here. Did he go? Yes. Abraham went. And that's why he is our father when it comes to faith. He lived a blameless life in front of God. Now let's look at the next slide. Genesis 22:1, Abraham. Sometime later, God tests. Awesome. God is the one who said to go. He went. And the same God tests. Now, look at this verse. He replied, here I am, he replied. Then, take your son, your only son, go and sacrifice him. Again, God says, go. What did Abraham do? Took his son and went. He went to the mountain, he laid his son, and he was about to bring down the axe. And what did God do? God provides. A God who says go, trust him, go, he will provide. And that is a verse which clearly says, Abraham, the God who sent me, he will provide. When God says go, in your journey, in your life journey, there are a lot of areas we are still stagnant. We are so afraid, lack of faith. There is a lot of area we are still stuck. I may not know, but when you inspect your heart, you will know. There are certain areas. We may be doing awesome in some areas we are holding back. Today God tells you, it may be a prophetic word to you. Today God tells you, go, I will remember you. Go, I will protect you. Go, I will provide. And that God has never failed us. Trust him. Now let's go to the next one. Genesis 12:2-3. I will make you, this is a very interesting verse, I really like this. See here, I will make you into a great nation and I will bless you. Awesome, great. I will make your name great and you will be a blessing. So far it's great. Now comes the most important point. I will bless those who bless you. If somebody blesses you, I'll bless them. And whoever curses you, I will curse. And the most important thing, of all the people on earth, you will be blessed through them. Now he's not blessing you alone. He's making you a blessing to others. Right? You got the point? It is the next level. It's not just, oh, I'm getting some blessings. It is the next step of, I'm getting blessings and I'm being a blessing to others. Let's hit it. God enables you. at your workplace, at your family, in your relatives. This is the God, when He says go, you go. And He will make a blessing. You are a blessing to others. He will enable you. Through you, a lot of people will be blessed. Is that not a great stage to be? Is that not the calling for we are all here for?
Yes.
Let's go to the next one. Journey basics, go. Mark 10, there is a young ruler who came to Jesus. He is like, I want to get eternal life. Jesus, what should I do? Jesus said, bunch of commandments. And he said, I have been following all of that. Then comes the interesting part. Jesus looked at him and with love he said, one thing you lack. Go sell everything you have and give it to the poor. Everything else is great. The moment he heard this, right, what did he do? He put his face down and walked away. Sometimes the God who tells you go, He may be trying to highlight some areas that you're holding back. There are some areas I think I've given this illustration before. Imagine your heart to be like bunch of rooms, right? We have every room open to Jesus, but there is one room locked. Sorry, Jesus, that's not for you. Some stuff will be there, right? We contain them saying that's the only room you can go, or this is the only room you cannot go. If you inspect your heart, there are areas like this. When He says, our God is able to teach us, He is able to help us look into the darker areas of our life and help Him out. This God will never forsake you. He will teach you every step of your way. Amen. Now comes the next one. Interesting, this is an awesome passage I really like. And I have a long passage here which is from 1 to 25. If you have your Bibles, you can open it and keep it. It's a very interesting passage. And I can have a median in the middle. That's this verse, 16. Here is Jesus. He told her, go call your husband and come back. Imagine this is the middle portion of that particular instance. Before this question, after this question, if you look at the experience, it will be very amazing. Go home and read it. You'll have to really go through this and experience it. Before this, she'll be asking, where is your bucket? Who are you? Why are you talking to me? Very, very normal stuff. The moment he asks this question, saying, go call your husband, what is happening? She is with the sixth guy, I think. I think that is also not her husband. Now, the Lord has touched a certain part of her life and He knows that innermost secret. If you read through this, after this particular words, when He says go and call, that's when she discloses saying, our Lord says, that is not even your husband, the guy who you're living with. Right? If you read that passage, you'll understand. After that, all her questions are about faith and she's getting near to God. Let's hit it. Our God is able to save us. If any of us, we have not given our life to God, if any of us are still, there are areas that we need to correct, this God who says go is able to talk to our heart, save our life, give us salvation and hope in this life. Now let's go to the next one. If God says go, please go. Please go. There are lots of people who have experienced this in amazing ways. Let it be your experience. Don't hesitate. There may be areas where you're doing awesome, but there are certain areas you're still holding back. No, you don't have to have any doubt. Go for God. When He says, He's there to provide. He's there to support you. He will never forget you. Amen. Now let's head to the next one. There is a second basics when it comes to journey. Today, whatever I'm going to say will look very plain and simple. There was a husband and wife. And this husband and wife never had any problems. People are like, wow, you guys have no problem? This is the next immediate basic that I want to share with you. Ask. Have you seen, I don't know the younger generation folks, now you use Google Maps and stuff like that. Before Google Maps, when we were driving with ordinary maps means, for the younger generation, it will be on a paper. Okay? People carry that in their hand. And when they are driving, sometimes we'll be lost. What do? We lower, see the action I'm doing. This is older cars, okay? This is how we roll the window in the older cars, right? In the newer cars, this is button. Okay, we roll the window down and we say, Annaya, how to go, right? That's how we ask, right? We'll reach a tea shop and say, Anna, how to go? We ask. In our journey, whenever we are stuck, whenever we don't know what to do, we ask. That was 101 on how olden days look like for the young kids as well, right? Anyway, now we ask. Whenever we have questions, we ask, right? So this young husband and wife, they had a secret. They never had any fights. Now, what happened is people asked them, hey, how do you do it? Oh, very simple. My wife is a doctorate in communication. I have a master's degree in acting. So what happens is, she communicates, I act, like listening. That's how we do it. They don't talk to each other. They don't ask, what is wrong with you? Is everything all right? Now, let's go into the Exodus 4:1. We are talking about Moses here. Moses answered, what if they do? What is the context of this? Moses was in the wilderness and there was a mountain and there is a burning bush. And he went in to see what is happening. And the Lord said, this is a holy ground. And then God is talking to him. He says, the hue and cry of my children, the Israelites, that has reached me. Moses, you go and liberate them. Go talk to Pharaoh and get my children out. What is he saying? Answer to God. Moses answered, what if they do not believe me? It's very natural to have doubts, right? He has doubts. And Lord, next one, Exodus 4:10, Moses said, pardon your servant, Lord, I have never been eloquent. In both the cases, he has some doubts. He says, how can I do it? I'm not eloquent enough. If they don't believe me. When he had questions, he opened his mouth and he asked. In your journey, when you have problems, when you have doubts, when you have questions, please ask God. And this God, let's look what he does. The Lord said to him, he answers. Look at this. And he tells him, who gave human beings their mouths? Who makes deaf? He's saying, I am the most powerful God. Look at this next verse, Exodus 6:1. Now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh because of my mighty hand. Let's hit it. Lord reveals his powers. When you ask, when you pray, when you have doubts, please ask this wonderful God. Any of the people that you've been walking with God, if you ask them, they'll tell. Daily prayer, daily devotion. That is the only superpower they have. They have nothing else. They ask. When they have a question, they ask. They have a confusion, they ask. If somebody is doing something really bad at work, ask. He will reveal his power. Let's go to the next one. Exodus 32:11 and 14. But Moses sought the favor. This incident, when it is happening, is Moses has gone away, and these Israelites, what did they do? They collected all the gold and made a golden calf, and they started worshipping. You know, our God doesn't want to give his place to anything else. He doesn't like it. Our Lord doesn't like. His place, you can never give it to anyone else. God became really, really angry. And look what Moses is saying. Lord, he said, why should your anger burn against your people, whom you brought out of... He's basically pleading and asking. A very, very angry God who is really worried about why these kids were doing like this. He asked. And what was the answer? Verse 14. Then the Lord relented and did not bring on the people the disaster. A big disaster was averted. Why? Let's hit it. God revealed his favor. Why? In your journey, if you have any doubts, if you need favors from God, ask. There is nothing, no super magic here. Ask. Let's go to the next one. Joshua 5:13. This incident, what happens is, there is a Jericho, big walls and Jericho city. Israelites are here and they want to conquer that city. Now Joshua is walking near Jericho and he sees a bunch of people there. And what is his question? Are you for us or for our enemies? He's asking those people. And what was the answer? Neither, he replied, but as the commander of the army of the Lord. Those were the commander of the army of the Lord. And what did they say? The moment they said that, Joshua immediately fell down. And what is he asking? What message does the Lord have for me? And what was the message? Go around the city for 7 days, right? And what was the result he got? He was able to defeat his enemies. Let's hit it. God reveals his plans. In your journey, if you want to know how things would turn out, if you want to know what is going to happen, pray, ask God, and he will reveal his plans. If he can reveal that to Joshua, why can't he do it for us? Let's go to the next. Feel free to ask. God will answer. And Anna keeps saying something. It's called push. Pray until something happens. Push. Don't let God sleep. Keep praying. Keep asking. He will answer. Right. Third basics. Let's hit it. Submit. Submit whatever you have. This is a very plain and simple message. When God is saying go, you go. When you have doubts, you ask. And you submit what you have. Let's go to the next one. Genesis 48. Here we are talking about Joseph. Joseph is a character. He is now in jail for something he has not done. He is accused and he is placed in the jail. Now everybody forgot about him. Now what he did, he saw a couple of people who have had dreams. And when they said, we want interpretations of the dream, look what he says. We both had dreams, they answered, but there is no one to interpret them. Joseph immediately says, do not interpretations belong to God? Next, I cannot do it. If you have intelligence, if you have knowledge, if you have wisdom, surrender, submit that to God. Many a times we rely on our own intelligence. We rely on our own plans. We rely on our own wisdom. It is a good idea. It's a winning formula if your journey wants to be successful. You submit your intelligence. You submit your knowledge at his feet and say, God, I will go with what you say. That will give you victory in your journey. Now let's go to the next one. Here is Solomon, known to be the wisest man on earth. And he has successfully completed building the temple. His daddy was not able to do it. David was not able to finish the temple. But Solomon was able to. But look at this. It's very interesting. I'll read this for you. It's very small, I know. The Lord has kept the promise he made. Did he say, oh, I'm so great, I built this temple, I bought the stones from here, I bought that wood from... No. Look at what he's saying. Within these verses, you will see him mentioning about Lord many times. The Lord kept the promise he made. I have succeeded David. Yeah. Just as the Lord promised, everywhere he is emphasizing the Lord, but he is the one who completed the work. He didn't take it for him. His success he did not take. Let's hit it. Submit your success. Many a times in your journey, there will be people saying great things about you. Oh, he became a great product manager. Oh, he became this VP of that company. He became this. Oh, he got that. See how nicely he has got his children. When you see success in your journey, submit that to God. Because of him it was able. You'll have to open your mouth and confess that this success was because of my God. In your journey, if you want to be successful, your journey to be successful, whenever you have success, never forget that it came from God. Let's go to the next one. Job, a very interesting character in the Bible. A lot of things to learn from his life. He lost everything in a single day. Here one servant is coming and saying, all your children are dead. Another servant is coming and saying, all your business is out. Right? Another guy comes and says, all your cattle, everything is out. Within 1 day, this guy from one of the topmost guy, he became nothing. In this world's eyes, he became nothing. Let me give you an example. This is not equal to Job's suffering. This is Pradeep's suffering. Right? So once I was going back from US to India. I was on the flight. And it was from here to, I think, Dubai. And there was a lady, pretty older lady next to me, 4 seats, right in the middle of the plane, 4 seats. So she leaned to me and she was talking to me. I was like, I wanted to make conversation. And she was like, how are you, where are you going, all that, regular talk. And suddenly she asked, excuse me, can I ask you a question? I was like, nice chance to share the gospel. Okay. Yes, you can go ahead. Do you drink? What? I was like, okay, maybe that's a chance for me to share the gospel. I don't drink. Oh, if you don't drink, they serve liquor. Can you give it to me? I'm like, I'm going in a different direction. She is going in a different... I said, no, I will not get it. So she looked at me like this and then slowly turned to the other guy. Excuse me. And then she started asking that guy. Like this, the full row she asked. Her quota, the next guy's quota, and the next guy's quota. All of this done. After some time, she started making noises. 4 rows down, there is a baby crying. Wah. She's also doing. Wah. All of a sudden, she started standing on the seat, running on the pathway. We didn't know what to do. The air hostess came full speed to me. She said, you should always take care of people coming with you. You should take care of her. I said, I don't even know who it is. Sometimes, when we have problems, how do we deal with it? Here is a guy who faced a lot of problems. Look at this guy. In 1 day, he lost everything. And that's the number 42. He prayed for his friends. This is the final chapter of Job. After all the bad things happened and full journey, finally what is happening here? After Job has prayed for his friends, the Lord restored everything to him. Whatever he restored, 3 times he got it back. Our God is someone, when you go with him in his journey, when you take him along in your journey, he will never let you lose. Let's hit it. Submit your sorrow to him. In your journey, submit your sorrow to him. He is able to provide. He is able to bless you abundantly. Now let's go to the next one. Submit everything to God. your intelligence, your success, your family, your children, every single, your problems, everything to God. He is able to provide. He is able to answer. Now let's go to the last one. We are going to summarize now. So let's get it. Go when God says go. We saw that. If you go, He is able to remember you, provide you, protect you, do all that. Now let's hit next. If you have questions, you will have questions in life. Ask. He is able to answer. Let's hit next one. Submit everything, including your problems, blessings, success, plans, everything submit to Him. Your journey will be awesome. That is G.A.S. Let's go to the next slide. Let God be your G.A.S. In your journey, many people watching online may not know what is this gas. In US it's called fuel station or gas station. Let Him be the fuel for your life. Let Him be the fuel for your children, for your job, everything and anything.